Hey Flomies, today I wanted to have a conversation about the sacrifices required to become an elite flow artist. Now, those sacrifices include things like time, money, energy, some of your relationships, some potential for your career, and even your body. And when I say elite flow artist is those who constantly go viral online and the household names who get booked to perform at flow arts events and teach at them, and those who earn a ton of money as a performer on mainstream stages. So the context of this journal I'm sharing today is that I feel immense pain and regret for a lot of the sacrifices I made in pursuit of an elite status. Now, you may not think I have elite status. That's an okay opinion. In my opinion, within my niche of 3-poi, I'm within the top 10% of teachers and performers because of the big shows I've done spinning 3-poi and the amount of views I've gotten on 3-poi tutorials, let's say, okay? Am I in the top 10%? Maybe not. Top 20, probably. Top 50%? Sure. So whatever your opinion of elite is, if that's mega viral all the time, I am not that. But within my sub niche, I have seen firsthand what it takes to reach the top. And I have had long conversations with those at the top, and combining that with my own experience, I'm here to give you sort of one of two opinions. One is you hear what I share with you today and say, okay, that's not worth it. I agree with his thesis that being a big fish in a small pond, an elite flow artist, is not worth all those sacrifices. Or you'll hear them and you'll say, actually, it's totally worth it. I am more than willing to sacrifice all of those things. Thanks for adding fuel to my fire. Whatever you decide, it feels good for me to express these things, and I hope you enjoy listening. Over the course of the last 10 years, I've had many conversations with elite flow artists. I've asked them very specifically what they've sacrificed to achieve their status. And what I've realized is this: the price of success, the cost you must give, is overpaying. You have to put your body at risk by inhaling gnarly chemicals. Your joints will feel pain if you don't warm up properly, which most of us don't. You will have to sacrifice money to travel. You will have to sacrifice your time off. It could have been spent with your family or on your own mental health to go to flow arts events. Now, you might be the type of person who says, I'm happy to overpay. Maybe you overpaid for BMW, knowing it's twice as expensive as a Honda and does basically the same thing, but you really like BMW. Perhaps you're like me and you end up overpaying for a house, and people say, wow, that's way too much. And you say, well, I really value the place I live. The cost of anything in 2026 is overpaying. Nothing is actually sold at the right price. And entrance into the world of elite flow artists is the same thing. You have to overpay. Time, money, attention, focus, effort, your body, your finances, and your mental health are all things you have to pay just to reach the lower rungs of that social group. So let's take, for example, personal time off. Nobody's going to tell you you should spend all your personal time off going to flow arts events. If you were to tell an elite spinner that, they'd be like, yeah, you should probably have some mental health days. You should go abroad, maybe go to Europe or South America or Africa, see some other cultures. You should spend some time with your family if you're not estranged. And you should, every once in a while, just take one of those mental health days. So the amount of effort that goes into becoming elite is tremendous. It's so hard to fathom. Find out for yourself. Ask these people what they've dedicated, and then ask the return they get on it, right? Just status, patting yourself on the back. All right, I went viral, or all right, I got invited to perform at a FAI event. Those are not worth the opportunity cost of what you could have done with your time. Well, maybe it is. Again, you can either say it is worth it or it isn't. But I'm telling you, if you're like me, you've got ADHD, you have a decent IQ, a good work ethic, a decent friend group, and a whole lot of different interests, it is not worth it. Flow arts events should occupy, I'm going to say, half your time off, even if you're fully dedicated, even if you're fully committed to this lifestyle and these art forms. I wouldn't spend more than half your time off of work going to these events. Now, the elite spinners do. In many cases, it's all they do. They manage to find a way to make money from it. They manage to find a way to find love in that community. They don't have to spend a ton of money getting there. Oftentimes, their experience is subsidized. But what they don't have typically is a fallback career. So they sacrificed whether it was going to college and becoming a teacher like I did, and then learning to program, which takes so much time. They chose instead to be a part of a community that really will probably never allow them to buy a home or pay for college or anything like that. Most likely. In other countries it will, but in America, sacrificing all your time off or even sacrificing the ability to start and maintain a career is not worth it. Flow arts just doesn't pay well enough, and there's not enough opportunities from being elite to sacrifice everything. Now, there was nothing else I could ever become elite in. I had to overpay for 10 years and have no furniture in my apartment and spend my Saturday mornings drilling and spin fire alone for many years so that I could achieve it, right? Unteachable lessons, such as this, require you to go through the motions and see for yourself that it isn't worth it. Now, if you're like me, you can look at my experience and say, yeah, maybe I'll rethink becoming elite because I don't want to overpay for something with such a small return on investment. The next subtopic is a little more specific. You will have to sacrifice some close relationships in pursuit of elite status. If you know me well enough, you know that I inadvertently sacrificed several key friendships in pursuit of elite status, specifically a fire performance troupe where we started with the goal of being elite, and then people in the group's intentions changed. They wanted to keep it more casual. And rather than just accepting that and excelling on my own within the group, I said, hey, either we're going to stick to the original plan, which is to be an elite performance troupe, or I'm out. And I wish I had just stayed in the group. There's a story that I touch on in many videos because it creates such a profound shame and sadness within me. It impacts nearly everything I do, at least on this channel. So if you're like me or if you are like how I was, you want elite status from a performance group or from a partner, and it is not worth sacrificing the relationship when your friends' standards change. There will be times when you need to lower your standards. Hey, I'm sick. Hey, my shoulder hurts. Hey, someone in my family needs me. I can't make this practice. Our performance is not going to be as epic as we originally thought. Now, the challenge with this is communication. In your pursuit of becoming elite, you don't want to be a hard ass. You don't want to be like, only the best. We have to make every rehearsal. You have to have a perfectly matching costume. You have to be perfectly musical. Our choreography is going to be like, the movie Step Up or whatever. No, in flow arts, the elite level is actually, the bar is a little bit lower than that. But in your head, you have this vision, this amazing vision that's going to change your life when you perform at an elite level. I'm here to tell you that is not the case. The best performers are chill and creative, and they mess up sometimes, and that's okay. They're not these extremely tight, choreographed, amazing acts that you imagine they are. The best partner performances I've seen are flawless with no drops, but their body language is super chill the whole time. And you can tell that both of those performers have really good emotional management interpersonally. They don't let the art get in the way. They prioritize mental and spiritual connection. And if one of them has to drop their standard of how good the performance is going to be, they're both chill with it. Now, I've had friend groups. In particular, right now I have one friend who's like really pushing me to perform at an elite level. And sometimes I'm like, I just can't do it. I literally can't do this move. Like, we were including Kung Fu as part of our fire act. And I was like, hey, I'm just not comfortable with this block. I think it's going to like break my hand or my wrist or something. And they were like, yeah, that's totally chill. This was my vision, but if you don't want to do that, I'm chill with it. And this person is elite, but they're not super technically skilled. So I really look up to them because they made the right types of sacrifices. They didn't grind for 10 years on tech. They got good at dancing and stagecraft. And so they're totally chill with me when I drop from an elite performance to a standard performance. And I wish I was that way. I really regret sacrificing some of my relationship, or like the quality of my relationships, by demanding that other people maintain that elite goal. I'm so ashamed of myself for doing it. You can tell I wish I had the social wherewithal not to do that. And if you're like me, you daydream a lot because you weren't good at sports, or you never like crushed on stage growing up, and you imagine flow arts as your way to break free from the misery of your mundane life. I am here to tell you that an elite performance is nowhere near as good as a strong friendship. And a strong friendship is based on patience and trust. And I broke that trust, and I was not patient during some key moments when my friends needed some space to, they needed how would I say it? They needed the patience from me for them to drop from elite to slightly below elite. And I'm here to tell you, it is going to happen to you if you perform with other people. Do not text out of anger. Do not call someone. Do not go bugging someone until they're ready for the conversation. Be as patient as you possibly can. Do not text anything when you're mad. If they cancel on the rehearsal, just let it happen. And the next time you see them in person, have a just good heart-to-heart with a plan that involves keeping the relationship alive. I shot myself in the foot socially out here in Portland a couple times by saying things to my performance groups that I shouldn't have said. And I just keep making the same mistake. And it was because I have this elite vision of myself. And anybody who gets in the way of my elite vision of myself is just holding me back. No, I'm holding myself back because patience with friends is far more important than executing a perfect performance. The next sacrifice I've had to make is my body. So first and foremost, spinning fire is terrible for you. Burning naphtha or burning white gas is carcinogenic. And there's all sorts of research coming out about basically damage to your inner ear. You get vertigo and you have all sorts of like brain problems. For me, it's like the burnt skin. Wherever it burns, it grows back weird. And your lungs get scarred, especially if you're fire eating or fire breathing. It is so bad. You are sacrificing years of your life and a potentially growing cancer within you by putting petroleum products anywhere near your mucous membranes. Do not sacrifice your mouth, ear, nose, and throat by putting fuel in it. I breathe cornstarch. I don't care what you do, but it is not, fire breathing in particular is not worth the sacrifice for me. For you, if it is, I respect you tremendously, but I just don't think it's worth the sacrifice. Now, I spin gigantic fire poi and gigantic fire staffs and swords and everything. The amount of fuel burning that I'm inhaling the byproducts of is shortening my life. I have such a bizarre desire to be elite or like have big wick energy or be a size queen, however you want to put it. I have sacrificed years of my life based on the amount of fuel I've inhaled. I perform with these gigantic wicks indoors, knowing how bad it is for me. The physical sacrifice of my body, I can't see it, but my mucous membranes and my lungs and endocrine system and who knows what else, I am absolutely sacrificing it to boost my ego and be known as like a good big fireball spinner. Not worth it. In the long run, not worth it. Performing indoors with gigantic fire props a couple times, probably fine. But making that like something you do on a weekly or monthly basis, I'm not a scientist in terms of health science, but I just know it's not good for me. Next is your joints. So both Johnny Douglas and I have had like gnarly neck injuries. His was way worse than mine. And a bunch of friends and I have had like bicep tendonitis and tennis elbow, rotator cuff impingement, and muscular imbalance from spinning and juggling poi without warming up or stretching. I highly recommend getting some free weights and working on your rear delts, your back, shoulders, because if you're spinning in front of yourself the whole time, this is going to get overworked and this is never going to get worked. So you'll have posture that looks like this. Your posture should be more back, and you cannot hope to spin into your 40s and 50s if you sacrificed your body in your 20s and 30s. Now, this is all easy stuff. What's the catch? It's time. Minimum 15-minute warm-up for your brain and body, and especially your joints, and then a little bit of stretching afterward. It goes a long way, but that's more time added to your session. And many of us spin in the time between big events, between work and sleep, before work, etc. So you don't have time to warm up. So how do you do it? That's the thing, is preventing yourself from sacrificing your body requires you to sacrifice your time earlier on. There's no solution, only trade-offs. Now, obviously, I like to work out. I think it's fun and I'm vain, so it's worth it to me. I was doing full arm extended pull-ups where my arms were all the way straight, and then I was doing pull-ups because I thought it would make my arms bigger. Well, all it did is gave me freaking bicep tendonitis that lasted like 6 months, and it was like, I'll call it permanent nerve damage. I get this weird tingly feeling if I spin too much now. And I wish I didn't sacrifice my left arm. I really wish that I had taken better care of it and understood the human body a little better, because going from that fully extended position, right, and doing all those pull-ups, and then within 2 minutes going into the racquetball room to go practice juggling, just like, it didn't destroy my arm, but I sacrificed its for the rest of my life. It has a weird feeling, and it's distracting and sad. So there are ways you are sacrificing your body to achieve an elite status. Breathing in noxious fumes, burning yourself, hurting your joints, hurting your spine. I know a lot of hoopers only spin in one direction, and they actually end up like unbalancing their spine. There's all these sacrifices. I've even heard of people hitting themselves like in the eye and like permanently damaging their eye a little bit, or maybe just for the next week you have to wear an eye patch. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit now. All this is to say, think about how you're sacrificing your body for the pursuit of an elite status. If you're putting toxic chemicals into and through your body, I am here to tell you it is not worth it in the long run. Next, we have the idea of diminishing returns once you get past a certain point with a prop. So for poi juggling, for example, the patterns I work on take anywhere from like 1 to 3 years to unlock. Some of them more than that. Like forward no beats, for example, or half shower in both directions. We're years deep on grinding these. And I could have picked up hoop or staff and unlocked like 50 to 100 tricks in that time. I am here to tell you, once you reach the point where your tricks take years just to unlock, not even to clean up, it is not worth the sacrifice on many of them. I never really use Seb's mess other than to like flex or show other people how to do it. I dedicated 3 years to that trick and gave myself really weird shoulder pain about a year into that grind, and it was not worth it. It's a cool pattern, and I'm glad I picked something worth learning, and the drills were fun, but it was not worth the pattern. My sense of fun dropped off. I started grinding and I looked like a weirdo just in this back room constantly doing this drill where I practiced the underarm throw, where I was obviously injuring my shoulder. I wasn't in a flow state and I was frustrated. I spent a lot of sessions frustrated. I didn't have the feeling of hitting a flow state. I even like kind of pulled my back a couple times because I would go to try to catch it and not let the pattern stop. And I would tweak my back. I would hurt my back from bending over so much to pick up the poi, hundreds of times in a session. And I'm here to tell you, as soon as your back starts spasming from something like that, or your neck, you got to step back. It is not worth the sacrifice to unlock that trick. I've posted Seb's mess a couple times and like maybe gotten 10 comments where people are like, oh, that's sick. One guy was like, oh, cool. Since when have you had that? And I told him since when, and he never even like responded. So the respect you get from extremely technical tricks is, I can only describe it as diminishing returns. Now, you may say, Troy, you're totally wrong. Like, my whole life's goal is to do tricks that nobody else can do. Absolutely. So how do you know you're one of those people that it's actually worth it? You can't until it's too late. So the price is overpaying. The price is regret. The price is isolation. The price is not having fun while you flow. The price is learning other props. The price is doing things you know you'll enjoy, like watching a TV show you would have liked, or doing yoga, which you know extends your health span. There comes a point when the tricks get so boring and repetitive to drill that there's just no joy to be had in it anymore. Now, the extreme joy you have when you finally get Seb's mess, or you finally get behind the back crossers, or whatever that crazy trick you're working on, that is amazing. And I am here to tell you, you should do a couple of those in your lifetime. But to just constantly be working on incredibly difficult patterns, it is diminishing returns. You are not going to be able to pull them off on stage because they're going to be so difficult. No one's going to watch the tutorials on them because they're like, yeah, I know how long that takes. I'm not doing that. And overall, just the cost isn't worth it. I have tons of tricks that I learned rather quickly that translate even better to stage. So yes, you should be drilling those really difficult ones, but don't base your happiness on unlocking them. The sacrifice just isn't worth it. Now, the next thing you might be seeking is respect. And respect is earned by giving others respect and they'll give it back to you. That's one way. Or doing something so amazing that those people just respect you as soon as they meet you. I am here to tell you that unlocking amazing tricks in pursuit of being an elite spinner or juggler does not get you as much respect as volunteering and just helping at an event. Showing up, helping with the food, helping with the music setup, helping with safety, helping with the dip station, helping film others and make sure they get the footage. All that gets you just as much respect functionally as amazing tricks. Now, if you're an introvert, that's going to be really uncomfortable. The respect earned from doing all that is going to be like a weird feeling where you're like, oh, I could have spent my time more wisely. I too am an introvert. Okay, I love to be alone. I do yard work, I write poems, I write books, and I film videos like this, sometimes for entire days without seeing that many other people. I still know that going to these events and helping other people achieve their dreams is going to get like functional respect far more than showing up and doing a dope trick. I wrote down some phrases that prove my point. So the first one is that you can be world class and still lonely, right? Just because people like the way you spin or juggle doesn't mean they're going to want to dedicate time to hang around with you. That's where I'm at with it right now. I am legitimately lonely on my days off because the group I was spinning with, they just kind of saw me as somebody who's, he's pursuing an elite level. We're down here chilling at an average level, still pursuing excellence, but they probably think I'm an elitist. So perhaps I am highly talented, but the loneliness and the chasm between my friends and I is not worth the cost. The next one I wrote down was, you can be respected and still broke. You often hear, likes won't pay your rent, or likes won't buy you a house, right? And a lot of what we do translates to internet likes. And I have met a lot of tremendously talented flow artists who are tremendously broke. And I refuse to be that because I know I'm going to phase out of this community. And if I put all my eggs in that basket, I'm never going to be able to attract someone or start a family or invest in my future, right? So balance, this is such lame advice, but balance your life. Being respected in the flow arts community barely does anything unless that's all you do. The next one I wrote was, you can go viral and still not be known. I don't know what it is about our community, but there's so many people who meet me and they're like, oh, you're that guy. And there's so many people that I meet and I go, oh, you're that girl, right? Where, I don't know what, it's like people only see the patterns we're spinning through the air. They don't really look at our face and they don't hear our voice. We're kind of just juggling and spinning like bipedal characters. I don't want to say NPC, but a lot of people don't know the true us, right? So they'll have seen our videos for years and then they'll meet us and they just won't vibe with us, or they will have expectations of us. I've dealt with that one before. So you can go viral a million times, right? You can reach that elite level, but people don't really know who you truly are. And when that happens, you get this bad, unique situation, which is where if you don't meet their expectations, they don't like you anymore. They meet you as a person and they don't like your art anymore. So your virality is actually temperamental. And I've met people who they cannot be themselves because they painted themselves into a corner on the internet, on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and they go viral for spinning things, but not for being themselves. So they sacrifice the ability to be their true self so that they can maintain that status as a viral artist online. Now, this last one is very true about me. You can be elite and still not be loved. I am loved by maybe 5 people in my city, and it used to be way more. Before I pursued the elite status and got my IJA Cascade of Stars performance and all these big gigs, I was loved by many more people. They came over, we cooked together, we traveled together, filmed together, and now I don't want to say hated, but definitely not appreciated or definitely not loved. And so you can reach that. The whole point of this long ramble is that you will sacrifice close friendships and you will sacrifice love to become elite. And you trade close relationships and love for likes and bookings. And if you're like me, you had no choice. You had to pursue that and you had to see for yourself. But then now that you see it, you're like, damn, I would have taken the love of my friends over this. And there's no happy ending to that. It is what it is. I sacrificed the love of people that I absolutely wish I would have stayed close with, men, women, and everyone in between. Like I said, I tried to maintain that elite status in a group. I tried to do it for myself, and I alienated myself from their trust. So I don't want to sound bitter. This path works. You can be loved and be elite, but it costs more than you think, and it requires way more emotional control than what I have. I'm not against excellence. I'm just against unconscious sacrifice. I am against you sacrificing your relationships and your health and your career to be elite in the world of flow arts. It isn't worth it in the long run as someone who pursued it, and whether or not you think I achieved it, I certainly pursued it and messed around and found out. So we can have more deep conversations about this one-on-one. I'm always open to chatting about this in the comments or on the phone. But my overall message is that flow arts is not developed enough to where it's worth sacrificing your health, your friends, your relationships, and your career just to become elite. I'm really curious what you think. Are you still going to pursue an elite level, or are you going to learn from those of us who realized this community doesn't offer everything that I thought it did? There's obviously a spectrum. You don't have to sacrifice everything I did, and you can go way further than I did. But I feel like I'm pretty average, and most people will wind up in my situation if they have the skewed goals that I had. I'm looking forward to hearing your input, and I'll see you in the next one.